women, and they all make this dish very, very differently. So I'm going to sit there and go ahead and make this recipe because this is the only recipe that I really like. I've had people say they put frozen peas in it. They do this. You just simmer it in water on the stove and all. But I'm going to make Osso Buco. I think I pronounced that right. Osso Buco. I'm sure if I said it wrong, you guys will let me know. First thing, we've got a lot of prepping to do. You're going to need a bowl to put your vegetables in. First off, we need 2 onions, and we're going to be doing that, okay? So it seems everybody has a different way of making this recipe. Believe you me, I should know. I've asked enough people. That's the only reason I know. I'm going to make this one. I seem to like the flavors that come together on this one. I'm going to be changing it some. Of course, I'm going to use bone broth. I'm not going to use some things that they say because I make it more nutritious, which is my whole goal on this page, is to show you how you can make dishes more nutritious for your family. And I know, guess what? My family's all going to be home to eat at a normal hour. So I didn't have to get up at 5 a.m. and run around like an idiot trying to get things done for my family. So I was very happy about that I didn't have to pull that stunt. Oh, we got 2 layers here coming off. Okay. You always have to be careful of that. Like here, you can see it's starting. This whole layer is getting ready to come off, become a skin. So we're going to pull it off because it's tough. If you've ever had somebody cook and you find these onion pieces don't break down, that's because they didn't take the ones that were changing to skin. But they want 2 onions, and they don't tell you what size. Do they want this sliced? Oh, 1/2-inch pieces. You want it chunky. Okay, I could do that. They're not going to all be chunky because I started. I figured they just wanted it chopped one way. Okay, now put that here. We could save that. So the carrots and the celery and the onion, they want them in 1/2-inch pieces. You're not going to get them a square because an onion is circular. And celery is a 1/2 moon. Good morning, 305. Morning, Matthew, Dill. I hope you all had a wonderful evening, though I'm sure you might be in a different time zone. See, when it's like this, they're very, very chewy. You can't break them down. You don't want to. Okay, well, mine are going to be a little different. So that's 1/2-inch pieces, approximately. I'm not exact. Celery, they want the same thing. 1/2-inch pieces. We have to rinse them off. Oh, the PG because of the onion? Okay. Now I bought 3 lamb shanks, though they say veal, but I was talking, he said, I'd have to order that special for you. The butchers at the store didn't have it, so I went to my butchers and they said, and he said, what are you making? And I told him what I was making. He said, listen, we make it with pork, we make it with lamb or veal, so don't think that you can't use other meats. And I said, okay, then I'll take lamb. He said, okay. He said, you ought to try it with pork as well. He says, when you do with lamb, you're going to deal with white. And I said, he doesn't know, I already know what white wine I'm going to be using. See, that's a good thing about having a butcher. You can always ask him. When you're asking for one thing, when he asks you what you're baking, he might help you get a cut that's cheaper. I've had butchers do that because they didn't have what I want, but they said you can because I've seen my wife do it. She has been able to pull it off with this. So that's good information you should keep under your hat when you have a butcher. When you have a really good butcher and he doesn't have the cut, tell him what you're making and is there anything you could use as a substitute? Because he knows the cuts of those meats, so he could end up helping you. Hi, Hard. Nick. I don't know what you're talking about, Nick. I'm sorry. I know I have another onion to do. I'll get there. It's just getting crowded up here. So we'll get back to that second onion in a minute. What did I have for breakfast this morning? I had a muffin, cottage cheese, fruit. All right. Sure you want this like this? Half-inch pieces. I'm going to cut them in half and do it. Okay. Because I know carrots take longer to cook. See, I've had some people tell me to dice your vegetables really small, blend them up. Everybody has a different way of making it. This is the only recipe I have, and I had never had this recipe because I never had a recipe. I had asked a woman in the store one day, what do you use? She told me, and I said I have never heard of it. When you cook with a man that doesn't like to try different foods, it sort of limits you what you can do. My father was a steak and potato man. He didn't like vegetables at all. My mother served vegetables. He wouldn't eat them. He'd eat beans and that, and he wondered why he was constipated. You will have a problem, and constipation will cause you to have piles, and especially drivers will have that problem who sit a long time. That's a B6 deficiency. But like I tell you, you can't take one vitamin. You've got to take all of those B's at the same time, or you cause an imbalance. Dang. Try this one. Yeah, they're called piles. You're right. Future. Hello, Cleaver, Kitty. A good morning to everybody. Nick. I am making Osso Buco. So wishing you all a good morning. Osso Buco is what I'm making. All right. Well, we'll just do it in chunks. That's all I can do. Okay. So I'm sure some of you will see this dish and say, that's not how I make it. Well, it seems everybody makes it differently, like meatloaves. Okay. I don't know where these onions come from, but they're not very healthy. I seem to throw half the package out, so I know they're mixing old with new. The ground wasn't very rich where they came from, but wherever they came from, they've got a very thick skin, very hard, so I know it was very, very cold. See, when you grow it, you can sit there and say, the vegetables will let you know. You have animals around you, they'll let you know when bad weather. Like canaries will let you know when there's going to be an earthquake. They're sensitive to it. Okay, that's 2 carrots, 2 celeries, 2 onions. They want in 1/2-inch pieces. Well, I've never seen a circle get into a round. All right, is there anything else that goes with this pot over here? Okay, measuring spoons. I didn't get them out. I should have, if I remember correctly. I have not cooked them. I took these mothers out. Okay, I got the garlic here. All right. I got the garlic. Did I put them back up? Am I that stupid? Sure, Sandy, you put them back up after you took them out. Okay. They want us to also add with the vegetables 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to pour it on top of the vegetables right here because they're all going to go in the pot. So I just figured I'll go ahead and put it right here. And how much pepper do you want? And they want 1/8 of a teaspoon of pepper. For those of you that don't know your math real well, that's 1/2 of 1/4, which is about 7 peppercorns to brine. Am I right? 3, 6. Yeah. Alright. I can put that bowl aside. We're done with this bowl. We'll get to the meat after we get everything else done. Alright, they want 1 can of 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes drained. Well, I measured out 14 ounces of fresh tomatoes. Let's not buy another can. So I'm going to dice these up. That's all I have to do. Am I leaving the skins on? Yes, I am. I'm going to do it my way. I go through cans and I can't always find what I'm looking for unless it has preservatives in it. And I don't want the preservatives in it, so I have to go another route to protect our health. At least to the best of my ability. So I'm diced. And I'll drain these. Put them in a strainer, let them drain. See, I see a lot of people, they talk and they just pick things up, but women don't read. And look, you have Google. You can sit there and Google information out. What is, and what are, and then you sit there and say, what are the side effects? And that's how you can find out a lot of this knowledge. It's right there. All what you have to do is want the information. But if you don't want the information, nobody can prevent you from not looking it up. But you can't say anything when you get sick, and go, woe is me, I have to take all this medicine. I know, and some people will say, that's cold. It is. Like the young girls think the best way to get a man is to spread your legs. If I give myself to him, he will sit there and marry me and love me. No. I saw a very sad video. This woman was getting an abortion and her husband was saying, please don't. It's our baby. She didn't care. I said, that's cold. I hope he divorces her and leaves her. But that's just my personal opinion. Somebody told me they went to an Islamic country. It seems that they were gay, and they said, we didn't have any problems there. That's because you're an American. Become a citizen of their country and watch what happens to you. A whole new ball game. Because they know if they hurt us and our sick ways of some people, the America will come down on them. So they have to be polite. They have to tolerate it. But they don't have to. If you change and take up their, since you love Islamic so much, then, or this other country and the way they do things, and become their citizen. But then you have to obey to their laws. And you're no longer called an American. Because, see, when you move to another country, you have to take an allegiance to that country and their rules. Of course, young people don't think that. I saw somebody talk to the Senate, and they sat there and said, and they're talking about the young people today. Basically, he's saying they're more stupid than our generation. And I went, oh, he said that. I can't believe he said that. I have to say, I was really shocked when he said that. He said they don't comprehend. They comprehend on the computer, but see, when our computer, when I was raised, was our brain. They were teaching us to think for ourselves, to think things through. See, you can become president of the United States if you're born and raised and you're a certain age, okay? But you have to have those three qualities and be raised in America, not in another country. Young people don't know that. You cannot. So if I wanted to be president, I could run, but the people could take my ideas and say, no, we don't go along with your ideas. But the Democratic Party changed the rules and said, no. You have to be a congressman, senator, or senator for 2 years, and then you can run for presidency. But that's not what our rights are. We have a right. You don't have to run in Congress. You don't have to be you don't have to be anyway. All you have to do is be born and raised and an American citizen, and I think the age is over 32. And that's it. That's all you need. It doesn't say you have to be a man, you have to be a woman, or you have to be a certain color, or anything. But those three qualifications: you must be born in America, be raised in America, so you have American values. Right now, it would be very hard to find young people with a lot of American values because they're taught socialism from the time they're little, in school. That's not what it's supposed to be about. I started my school with a prayer and a pledge of allegiance to the United States. Even in high school, we still had it. And we had the, what did we have? What was going on. If there was something going on at school, they would put it over the mic and let us know what was going on. So a lot of our morals weren't just coming from our family. They were coming from the school. But what I see up north here, it's not. I don't know how it is in the South anymore, but that's how it was when I grew up. One woman said, you can't hit your children. Told the story, this old woman said, you can't hit your son. I told her, you open your mouth one more time, you're going to get hit. And my husband stood there and said, that's right. Told her to mind her own business. You don't know my children. I think the smartest people today are the ones who have an IHIP, stay out of school, do individual home instruction plan. Hi, Sir Matthew, the Irv. Okay, you love living up north. I have problems with it, with the way people act up north and the crap you have to go through. It drives me insane. I don't like a lot of things I see up north, but I don't know how the South is anymore. I'm afraid if I go down there, I might have a heart attack. Said, my God, what happened? But they've got a good governor. Love that governor. All right, we need some garlic. We're just doing a lot of chopping right now. They want 6 cloves of garlic. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, 7. What the heck? What's one little one in that lot? Yeah, there we got it. Osso Buco. I think I said that right. If I don't, you know me in language. I could kill it. You know, my husband was here, I'd tell him to tell you, and he would pronounce it beautifully. I'd let my sons do it, but I can't. One's sleeping. He'll be getting up a little later. The other one is already gone. He had an appointment early this morning. He was out before 6:30. Okay, put garlic in a separate bowl. All right, so we have this one. We've got the tomatoes, We've got the vegetables and we've got the garlic going. And we're draining the tomatoes. So you can use a can of diced tomatoes if you wish, drained. All right, now. All right. We're going to need just throw that in there. I need to get it out of my way. You need twine, and you can use beef, veal, or lamb shanks. The veal is the most expensive. They want 6, 8 to 10 ounce veal shanks cut 1.5 inches thick. And what we're going to do, get my cutting board out for the meat. We are going to tie these, and what it's going to do is it's going to prevent them from coming apart. All right, so that's what they want. Let's see. Listen. You don't want to spend the money for food? You go right ahead. I'm not telling you. I'm showing you how to make food more nutritious. That's all I'm doing. And I'm introducing a lot of recipes I have. I make my own recipes as well. If you're going to bitch and complain about everything, I mean, go right ahead. Anybody can sit there and look for an excuse. I should know. I've heard enough of them. I'm sick of them. Okay? This is going to hold it together while you brown it. We'll cut it later. It holds it together while you're making this dish. I told you, I save my money. I'm careful how I shop. You're probably saying, careful with the way you spend money? Yeah, I am, believe it or not. And am I on a pension? Yeah, I am. So as far as I'm concerned, you'll make excuses to run to McDonald's to make something, or you're just too fucking lazy, as they say. You know, that's how I look at it. Because women have been budgeting all their lives. They know how to get things working and making it work. That's our job. Man makes that money. She has to make it work when he gets home with that check. And I am on a budget. But you probably spend money on makeup and stuff like that. We made clothes. I mean, if you have little girls and boys, believe you me, instead of buying them, you'd be surprised how cheap it is to make them. But it takes time. But you're more interested in doing your nails. Or coloring your hair. Or having the perfect house. You know, going out to eat. Anything to make your day lazier than what it already is. Oh, I'm cutting this, making them tight enough. Thank you, Judy. And good morning. Hi, Kelly. I'll tell you, one of my favorite cuts of meat is a filet mignon. Go to the restaurant, it's like $80. I wouldn't sit there and spend $80 at a restaurant for a filet mignon. I'll save it up and buy it, and I'll get more cuts for that $80. That's how I look at it. Not in a funky mood. I just get tired of people being stupid. But I was shocked that this man said when they test, young people are not as smart as we were. And it seems it's because of the computers. They depend too much on the computer instead of on their brain. Because we were taught the fastest and best computer is that thing that sits behind your eyes. We knew what they were talking about, our brain. I have heard some young people have actually walked out of school because of the teachings. They're so stupid. They'd rather go. Students are actually saying, I think I could take the SAT test and graduate faster than sitting in this classroom listening. You know, I say, God, if we thought about doing that, we were going to be dead by the time we got home. Our parents would be killing us. I admire that young man. If he feels he's not learning anything, I would agree. I know this is boring watching me tie this stuff up. They say tie it up to hold the meat together, and it will take it off later. These are just meat. They can just sit there. I'm not going to tie up meat. All right, so this is 3 shanks I have here. He said, I think 3 will cover your family. He knows my family really eats, which is nice when you have a butcher that understands that your family is a big eater. Okay, where can I put this? Hold on a minute. I think we're just about ready to start this. I think we got everything chopped. Okay. Put this over here. All right, now we're putting this in the oven. Oh yeah, this is going to be going in the oven, so make sure that you have a pan that could go into the oven. Let's see. That's going to be a little tight, but we'll maneuver with it. All right, they want you to adjust the oven rack to the low middle position and heat your oven to 325. I don't have a lower middle position there because I have a smaller oven. I have a 28-inch one. So I'm going to leave my shelf where it is and just turn the heat on. I can't go any lower. All right, they want a tablespoon of oil in a large, you want it in a Dutch oven? Okay, I'll take it out of the frying pan. That's not what you said at first. Dutch oven? Okay, we can pull the Dutch oven out. Okay. We're going to put a tablespoon of oil in this Dutch oven. I'll be with you in a minute. Okay. Okay, official. I never heard of wrapping it in bacon. Okay. Well, see, I think some of you would have made this dish, but every dish is different, slightly different, so I figured I was going to get that. Okay, I'll bring you over here in a bit. I just want to move everything out of the way for you so you can get over here and not knock anything over. All right. What, she didn't want a Dutch oven? What'd she want? Money, flowers, and dinner? Sounds like my mother. My father would buy her equipment that she needs, and she would get angry. He brought her flowers, she threw them in the trash. He gave her a card, she ripped it up in front of him. He took her out to dinner, she bitched and complained the whole way. I don't know what she wanted. He took her on a trip, she bitched and complained. Oh, I don't know what my mother wanted. And then she'd scream, "You're not listening to me." And I'm saying, what more does she want? You know? Hi, Snack. George, good morning. Oh, what'd you do, hit her over the head? Okay. Let me turn this way down. Now on the lamb or veal or whatever you're using, they want you to sprinkle both sides with a half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of pepper. So I'm going to grind up some more pepper while that pan heats up. Now you know I'm going to add more pepper than they want. I always do. That's more than they want right here. So it's half a teaspoon of salt and a half a teaspoon of pepper. They want you to salt and pepper meat on both sides while your Dutch oven gets hot. Now I'm not using my kelp with this recipe. I'm going to be using just iodized salt. Mix them up and we'll sprinkle mine while that's getting hot. want medium-high heat. That's just about it. Now we want to wait till this oil is shimmering. Like I said, you'll see a heat like this, and that's when you know the oil is hot. Oh, Wick, you're just being stupid. Break. Listen, I use what I have. I have different salts in the house. Don't think I have just one. Oh, here comes DJ. I mean JD. I know I'll be there soon enough. Sear, you're not supposed to put any oil, but you're telling me to do that. Okay. Hi, Matthew. Tasha. Good morning. Okay. Oh, that's what you like, Jiggy? Well, I should say, sir. Oh my God. Judy, I'm still working on the cabinets. I didn't get to it yesterday. But I got my pantry in order. And my son started messing up my drawers. I said, hold it. Everything has a place in my kitchen. Do not mess it up. Because they like to open the drawer and slam and close it. Everything moves to the back and then I can't find anything. I said, no, you open it and you close it so everything doesn't slide to the back. Okay, George. You were in the Marine Corps. Well, I know you're capable of being quite nasty. Oh, Matthew, of course. And sometimes I get a belly full of them. Then you hear it over here because I can't deal with it anymore. I want to scream. Where's your respect? Man, if I did half of what they did, I would not be standing here. I think my parents would have killed me. Ready yet. They're not ready. Simplify, that's right, George. Awkward. Do I look awkward? Nah. They are actually searing. I was always taught when you sear, there's no oil, but they only put 1 tablespoon in here, and they said you're going to sear these lamb shanks. Well, yeah, mine are lamb, but you have veal or pork. About this dish is the bone marrow that we're going to get because that's where all the folic acid is and those are your antibiotics, so that'll be great to get that part. Why did I only put a bucket of water in? Okay, George, I can understand that. Well, this is longer on this side than the other side. My husband was going to re-enlist, and I got angry with him. I said, you went into the Marines, you got hurt. You went into the Navy, you got hurt. But you still continued until you finished. No, you're not going in again. I did not want him going in again. He served enough. First, he didn't think he was going to make it back. See, young people don't understand. That's why I think the draft should come back. I was against it because it was sending everybody overseas. Yes. My husband was. He was Special Forces. Force Recon under Special Forces. It was a bad time. I mean, I was standing with his two brothers and him, and there was a thing about against the war, the Vietnam War. And I was saying, I stood there. They heard me screaming, that is right. We do not send our men overseas. They should be defending this country. And they all looked at me and said, Sandy. I said, no, you know it's wrong. And they're looking at me. And they're in uniform, but all what I'm seeing is our young people are dying. I saw Stephen come back, and he was never the same. I mean, Stephen said that, when he came back home. I mean, he was wild when he was younger. When he came back from Vietnam, I don't know what happened to him, but Stephen was not the same. He liked playing chicken and everything else to see who could die first. It was like he had a death wish. You know, and they took me to a restaurant, and I had to explain how I felt. And when I told them, I think we need the service and we need the draft. I said, I absolutely agree with that. But my thing is why are we sending our young people over there to die and fight when we've been here to defend this country? Our soldiers and everything are overseas. And we've got an invasion, and they're not here defending us. They should be here defending us. Every male should know how to handle a gun. That's why their fathers took them hunting. They had to learn. The first guns were usually BB guns, and move from that and move forward. But then it would be like if you sat there and invaded this country, you would be going house to house and citizen to citizen because we love that freedom. But with everything that has happened, we need the draft back badly. We really need it back. And we need our young people that are overseas. Well, they're saying to pour wine in this. Take it off the heat. So I'm going to move it over. I want you to pour a half a cup of white wine in here. It's pretty hot. Break the pieces up, you know, the little bits and pieces. Oh, this is hot. Pour it into the meat. Put another tablespoon of oil in here. We're going to put the rest of the lamb shanks in here. Once that oil is hot. I know it's against a lot of people, but I understand the fear of young people going to war and everything else. But like I said, they should be home defending the home front. They shouldn't be in another country. They're going to, no, they don't have to register. They tried a new thing because men were afraid to go to war. But they're the ones who are going to sit there and make sure that this country stays free. But they're going to bring that back, register. You don't have to register. They're going to register you automatically now. So we're going to sear this batch. Now see, if you sit there and file for college, they wouldn't take you when you get out of high school. They would wait till you get out of college, and then you had more of a chance of being an officer or something. Technically, men should. If they don't, but it's going to be mandatory, and I went, yes! Because if this country is ever attacked, they're going to take all males from the age of 18 to 63 if we're ever attacked. And I could lose. I used to tell my husband, I don't have any daughters. If this country's attacked, I could lose my husband and my 2 sons, and my whole family is wiped out in one shot. You know, this is why they're very careful that brothers are not put in the same area of war. One could be up north, one could be in the south or somewhere, but they don't have them in the same area because of, what was that law? This family had 5 sons only, and 5 sons were always together. Well, I think it was a ship that went down. They all went into the same service, and they were put on the same ship. The ship got blown up, and the 4 older boys went to get the younger one, because the younger one always ran late, and they all died together. So when the servicemen came to their home to inform that their son had died, they said which one, and they had to tell them, all of them. So there's a special law that says brothers cannot be in the same area. So the chances of one of them surviving will be there to carry on the legacy. Yes, I am. Oh, they took them too? Just because you're a clergy? No, they pulled you in. You could be a minister to the servicemen, but you went in anyway. You served the country. But it didn't prevent you from learning to shoot and to defend the people, because if you're giving last rites and prayers to people and they're coming to attack, you're going to have to defend with them, or all of you are going to be dead. Well, that's because, I don't know about that, but I do know they have servicemen. The old drafts were there. I don't think anybody was exempt unless they were mentally or physically disabled. But they have soldiers now taking medication and stuff. They have cell phones. No, you can't have your cell phone stuff. They didn't even like soldiers with tattoos because if the enemy caught you, because you do have spies, they'd say the one with this tattoo, so you didn't get tattoos in that way, they wouldn't know you, but if you had a tattoo, you hid it. But special forces usually had a tattoo, and they were known as the terror, so if one of them got caught, they knew they didn't have a chance, they were going to be tortured and killed. I don't know how it is now, sir. I can't tell you. I'm talking about Well, when I was growing up, men were men and women were women, and little boys grew up to be men and little girls grew up to be women, and there was no sex problem. We knew our place. In order for society to work well, everybody's got a job to do, okay? And people miss that one thing. A family structure, you have to have a mother and a father, okay? If you have male children, they need their father. If you have a female, she needs her mother. But at the same time, her first love, that little girl, is going to be her father, and the little boy's first girlfriend and love of his life is going to be his mother. Yeah, it's all there. Sorry, it's already set up, George. It's going into law. December. You won't have to sign up. Automatically, you'll turn 18, and they're going to put your name up there. Okay. You need another 1 cup of wine, white wine. Hi, Marie. Good morning, sir. Marie, sir, Mr. Dog, and okay, whatever. Thank you. I got it from Amazon. I don't know if they still have this design, but any aprons I've worn so far are from Amazon. The other ones just wore out. You could read a paper through it. They were really thin. They weren't protecting them. Matthew, I usually get, if you get a really cheap one, it's really vinegary. I try to go in the middle where it's not too vinegary. I don't put an expensive wine in it, but don't go cheap. It's so acid that you could taste it. Sort of go in the middle range. I usually pay about $40, maybe $50 for a bottle. When I go to make mustard, I tell my son to go up because he buys the wine for me. I'll tell him to go and pick the wine up so we can make brown mustard and golden mustard. So do that. According to your income, really is what I tell people. But I tell them don't get the cheapest. But get what you can afford and use that. I thought I'd get my mother angry. She'd go buy the most expensive wine to cook with, just to irritate him. She had a way of getting back at him. I have to say she was very good at that, but I didn't have to do that. I had a very good husband. I could talk with him and he would listen to me, and when I would cry, he was there for me. He didn't sit there and not understand that my emotions were running high. He was very understanding. But he'll tell anybody that Sandy cries, it's hard holding her. I could go to combat better than I could holding her when she cries. Because he knows I'm crying for the earth and everything that's going wrong. Yeah, that's weird, Matthew. No, I go to a liquor store, not far from ShopRite, and I see what they have, and I try to buy the best I can because I'm on a budget to make it work. And then my son will sometimes come in and do something for me, which makes it a little easier for me, so I can make ends meet. I don't ask them. If I ask them, like I said, can I have a Guinness? He said, what do you need it for? I said, for dinner. He said, all right, you get one, Mommy, but don't take any more. I always ask them, can I have it? I tell you what shocks me, the grocery stores have everything. We used to have to go to the butcher to get the meat. You had to go to the fish store to get the fish. You had to go to fruit and vegetable to get the fruit and vegetable. And then we just had the regular store. And then we had a milkman that used to deliver the milk on Mondays and Thursdays. I remember that, sir. I remember the Five and Dime store, too. How many of you remember that store? Some of these are unbalanced, so they're not going to brown the way you want because of the bone. Okay, that's meat. Now, you know what they want us to do? I'm going to take this off the heat again. Let me turn this heat down so I don't burn my hand. Take it off the heat. Now they want us to pour a whole cup of white wine in here. You're going to stir the bits up as much as you can. Then we're going to pour it over the meat. And we're going to put more oil in here and continue going. I guess if you left it on the heat, you would end up losing too much of the wine, and they don't want you to do that. Oh, okay, they want 2 tablespoons now. And I'll see what the temperature is if they want to keep it up or turn it down. Okay, they want medium heat now. We're going to put the vegetables in here. Now they say broth. I'm going to use bone broth. What do they want? I think they want they want chicken broth, but I'm going to add bone broth. It's more nutritious, so I'm going to do that. Want another cup of wine. Let's open another bottle. Just open another bottle of wine. So you need a cup of wine. You might as well get the liquids all together. You need 2 cups of, they say, chicken broth. You know I'm not going to. I'm going to do it my way. So put 2 cups of chicken stock or bone broth in with your wine in a bowl. I'm getting this ready. You need 2 bay leaves as well. Add it into the broth and the wine. Oh, it seems something was going on. I missed that while I was pouring the wine and the broth and bay leaves together. We're going to be cooking this for about 9 minutes. That's what they want. I hadn't heard over and out. That's when somebody was sitting there sculling, and I knew he was serving when he told his son, over and out, do you understand? He said, yes, Daddy. I said, oh, that was cute. People say, women say it's hard to live with somebody who's been in the military because he's so regimental. But it's good because it gives children order. Little girls are in order. Little boys are in order. And him being like that, it gives structure to the family and security. So it's really good. Oh, so I guess everybody's being nasty because a lot of people are being cut off. 2? Oh yeah, I'm enjoying mine. It's like having cast iron, except with color to it. I told my son not to chip it, and he's already chipped it. I said, what is wrong with you guys? It's on the handle somewhere. Oh, right here. A little chip right here. But when I looked underneath, I said, this is cast iron underneath this. I think it is. Good morning, David. How are you? I don't see Sir, so he must be gone right now, sleeping or something, because he usually comes in all the time. Okay, now we got to continue cooking. Yeah, I think that's what it is, David. I'm not sure, but I think it is. But they're heavy like cast iron, because when I go to pick it up, I go, oh, I can feel it now at my age. I said, could you imagine if she was angry with her husband and he hit her? She'd grab a frying pan, because they use cast iron in those. She could come up and wallop him good, break a rib or something. I don't think he'd ever lay a hand on her again. I'm doing well, David. Oh, Trip, okay. I don't have to taste the wine. Now, if it was Cojito, yeah, I'd probably have a little glass in the morning. Because my son, this time he had every bit of it. I didn't get any, but before that, I was enjoying it every morning. You might have coffee, but I was enjoying my Cojito. Feeling good. Yeah, that's good. David, yeah, you hold on to those things. I had a pitcher, an old pitcher, and they came across on the wagon trail, and somebody took it. I was so angry. That was my grandmother's, and my grandmother got it from her mother. So you knew it was an old one. I was really upset about that. That's why I don't let anybody touch my sewing machines. I had a 221. We moved, somebody stole it. My husband got me the first computerized one. They stole it. Then I got another one that was more advanced than that computer one, and they stole it every time we moved. So now, don't touch my sewing machine. You know, I have it. If I'm going to move, it's going with this body. That's it. Okay. Turning a little brown, which they want. All right, you're going to put the garlic in. Stir it around. Get that flavor going. Now you're going to pour in the wine, the broth, and the bay leaves, and turn this up to high. Okay. Now, you want me to boil this or anything? they want you to add the tomatoes now. They said a 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes. I said I'm just using fresh tomatoes. And they want you to drain them, which I did do. I'm going to bring that to a boil. Smells good. No, I do not, sir, and don't lie. Osso Buco, OSSO, and then BU seal, or SO, I can't remember. Good morning, Isaiah. Yes, Isaiah, I had mine before I started. One of my sons had to be up and out before 7, and he says he'll come back. So I didn't have to pack a lunch for him. He says I'll be back because he had an appointment. I said, okay. So I didn't have to cook at 4 o'clock in the morning. So by the time this is done, it'll be near 11. You have to bring this to a boil, then we're going to put all of this in here with all the juice and everything. So you can see that this has got a lot of wine in it. Typo. Oh, now it's white again. Hurry up and wait. Help, help. Okay, it's starting to boil now. Yeah, I know it's hot. You don't have to tell me twice. It's not all yet. Okay. We used a lot of wine in this. Good morning, Paul. Well, for feeding, let's see. Now remember, I'm feeding 3 adults, cats inside and out, and my friends out. I share food with my friends, and also her pet. So I go to a health food store. What I can't find at a health food store, I order online. I have a fish store I go to if I can't find it there. I hate going in there because of his insults. I also go to the butcher if I can't find what I'm at the store and the grocery store. All total. It just depends upon what I'm making. And like I said, my sons give me the money to buy the food. So they're covering for all the pets, all the health food, as well as the food in the store. So I take care of everything else. I cover for the mortgage. I cover for the gas, electric, water bill, and all of that, and my own bills as well. Okay. I can't go as low as you want me to go because mine doesn't have that shelf. Okay, so simmering. We're going to put this in the oven and leave it for 2 hours or longer. Okay. So 8, about 11 o'clock, I think. It'll be done. So do I have a bill? Yeah. But remember, they're paying for that part. I'm paying for everything else. So I take care of everything else, and they're responsible for that. I was going to sit there and say, divide the mortgage, the gas, the electric, and the water bill, but I found out it was more money. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that to my sons. I said, so look, just give me and cover for this. This is what the money you give me is going to go for, and they know. And they said, okay. They said, don't you want it? I said, no, it's too much. It'll be way too much for you guys, and I'll just cover it myself. So that was respecting their income and everything else. Oh yeah, I made my dog food for the dogs. And my girlfriend says if she dies, she wants me to take Bonnie. And Bonnie will get homemade food. I will cook him food like I did for the other dogs that we had, the kennels that we had when my husband was alive. And I have the recipe in my head, and they will get a full diet. They'll have breakfast, they'll get raw bones, and they will get the food that I make for them. And I will make sure I cover all the nutrients that they need. Yeah, so they eat just as well. My cats are so picky. I have tried giving them. Taffy likes raw shrimp. Amber loves gravies. I have to practically beat them off gravies. It took me forever to find cat food that they like, and they're very, very picky. They decided what they want. I've cooked food for them. They won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I said, okay. So which ones do you want? If I'm going to buy it. So I order from Chewy for my animals, for my cats. But if I get Bonnie, Bonnie will definitely get homemade dog food. And he better not give me a hard time. But my girlfriend and I talked about it. She's already had cancer twice. So, dogs have their taste as well. The dry food, I make sure that they get quail eggs. This is for my cats. I get quail eggs. Lots of grass for them. Oh, because Amber has a sensitive stomach. I also give him dehydrated meats and stuff. I give him, what else do I give him? There's treats that I give him. I give him meat sticks as well that he likes, and then I mix that with like a little handful of dry food, and it's buffalo for blue buffalo for sensitive stomachs. Oh yeah, he's torn up underneath my bed. He's decided that all my clothes have to have holes in them. They get my lap and they go, and I say, would you let it go, guys? They ripped the sheets up. I said, you keep on ripping these sheets up, you know, I'm going to throw you out of the bed. Yeah, they get that way sometimes. I want to strangle them. And they've got a ton of toys. I mean, when I go to vacuum the bedroom, because they like their toys in my bedroom, I have to stack them all into a corner. Then I got to put them all out on the floor again because they'll stand there and cry because you packed all my toys up. Okay, so take all the toys back out. And I got the toys. Where did I get it? Where did I get their toys from? Oh, catnip box. They also have one for dogs as well, which I love. Yeah, well, a dog is more amenable to eating what you make at home. Cats are... The only reason I got cats was I had a mice problem and rats in this house when we moved in. I know, Vicky. My family's going to eat normal hours today, so I didn't have to race to get it. I told you, I don't have a normal day, okay? All right, now we have to make we got another thing that we have to make for this recipe, okay? All right, let's see if I can say it. Do not get upset. I'll spell it when I'm done. Oh, mine do all the time. I told him there's 2 places you do not put your toys in. Well, 3 places. You don't put them on the stairs, you don't put them in the bathroom, and don't put them in the kitchen. And I gave them the whole bottom bathroom. They got that one. We can't go in there. They got their food in there. They got their potty in there. They drag everything. All right. Now we have to make the gremolata. Gremolata. We need parsley, garlic, and lemon zest in a small bowl. All right, so let me get that stuff out and we'll start there. Oh, you're welcome, David. By the way, for anybody who's on, know that I'm going to be making fish and chips, and I gave a list of everything I need. I'm going to be doing either oh, I can't do it Friday. There's no way I can do it. I think we might try it Monday next week. That'll give you time to get all the ingredients together. Hold on a minute. I'll tell everybody what they need. Now, if you want French fries with your chips, you're going to have to sit there and get Idaho potatoes. We'll do this, I think Monday's the day we're going to do it. I'll know more what day after I get past this weekend. You know, if my older son isn't here Saturday, we could have it Saturday. I'll know by tomorrow if he's not here because he might have another appointment. We're going to need oil for deep frying. You're going to need 4 6-ounce cod fillets. Yes, cod. You're going to need flour, and you need potato flour as well. This is why I'm giving time on this recipe, because you have to look for potato flour. You might have to order it from Amazon, or you can sit there and go to a health food store. They'll have it there. We're going to need a beer. I'm going to be using Guinness's stout. We're going to need eggs, milk, salt, and pepper. Okay, so if you want the fries, remember we're going to have to. And if you have trouble with your temperature for deep frying, get a thermometer. They usually call them candy thermometers. They clip up on the side of the pot so you can control the temperature to make sure you don't burn it. Okay? Yeah, well, that's everything there if you want to get it. Make sure you have a pot. You're going to need measuring spoons, dry and liquid measuring cups as well. But if you don't have a candy thermometer that clips to the side, please get one if you're not good at knowing when the temperature hits the temperature you're supposed to fry it at, so you can get yours done right. Don't you remember in 7th grade geography? Alright, I need lemon zest. How much lemon zest? Tell me how many lemons I need. Okay. Oh yeah, 1 lemon will cover that. We need garlic and parsley. Much garlic. All right, they want 3 cloves of garlic minced. Knowing me, I'm going to add more. Okay. Oh, we'll use this one. Breakfast, I had cottage cheese this morning, and what else did I have? I had a muffin, I had cottage cheese. What else? I put something in the cottage cheese. Wheat germ into the cottage cheese. That's what I had for breakfast this morning. And then I had coffee right before I turned on for the video. The reason I crush them, it's easier to peel them. Makes my life a little easier. I know I told you we were going to have lamb meatballs, but I changed my mind when I saw this in the refrigerator last night. I went to get that, and I said, you know, I really don't want to make that. I want to make this instead. Oh, guess what I am doing? I got to show you. I started writing down some of my recipes, like how to make all-purpose flour, bourbon butterscotch. I sat there, and Ezekiel flour. I put my all-blend oil in here. Yeah, I am making a little cookbook of my own. Okay. I said, you know, my sons are yelling at me, so I'll have to put down my chicken casserole down, try to remember how I made it, and some of the things that I make. because they are so afraid I am going to not be around and they're not going to have these recipes or things to do. So I said, okay, I'll write them down for them. So I decided. So I spent last night, before I hit the sack, writing stuff down. Yeah, but some of them I didn't do a video on. There are some that just aren't there. And those are the ones I'm writing down. Because I have moved a lot of the videos over to what you call a SIM card, because my phone was getting packed. I notice when I do live, it's not doing that to my phone. So I said, oh, good. I'm putting extra garlic in. Yeah, so you can write them, but this is a cookbook for them if they don't want to sit through it. And they know what are my favorite recipes, so I'm marking all my cookbooks up. And one cookbook had 2 mistakes in it, so I wrote into the book right there what you have to do. So it's one for them. They'll probably fight over it knowing that. But I have another book just like that, and I put my, I'm going to start putting patterns that I create in there, so at least I can always find them if I need them. So the first pattern I put in there was the bedspread that I'm making right now, and edgings and stuff I'll do. They could be knitted, crocheted, or knotted lace, better known as Armenian needle lace. Whatever I do and it's coming through me, I will just sit there and put it in there for them. If they have a wife, they'll have it right there for them. Some people don't like it when you just do a video. They want it done, you know, in a book. But I told my sons, they were in the videos, and they said, no, Mommy, we want a book. You're going to have to make a book. Okay, so I made a book, you know. I need a small bowl. Oh my God. Katie, that's nice of you to say that. That really smells interesting. But it's coming through the oven now. I can smell it. So for this recipe, for the person who's always asking me, I would strongly recommend use white wine, because you already have white wine. We have a lot of it in that recipe. Okay, no, I don't want that one. I'll take this one. I'm going to use a medium grind to get the zest. Grater, I mean. I want 2 teaspoons, but I'm just going to use a whole lemon. I even put the grains down together to make your own Ezekiel flour. And I'm gonna make some, and I want to sit there and I'll get my mayonnaise recipe out. You guys can make your own mayonnaise. So it was in an old cookbook. I doubt if you're gonna find it now. All right, how much parsley do you want in this? 1/4 cup of minced parsley. Let's see what that does. That's not enough, more. Thank you, sir. So I'm in the AM show, okay. Well, I guess a lot of people aren't cooking dinner for breakfast, you know, but that's what I have to do. I had a simple breakfast this morning because I wanted to eat this morning. Other than that, I would have sat down. Listen, those muffins I made yesterday are really, my sons said, oh, Mommy, he said, I'm having 3 muffins this morning. I said, knock yourself out. There's other things that you can have for breakfast. I might quit making muffins for a while and try something else. Tea breads are nice for breakfast, though. Most people think of having them with tea. If you have cream cheese or marzipan cheese, they're good. I want to make some more sourdough English muffins. I think I want to make semolina sourdough. I don't know where I put my cinnamon raisin sourdough. Okay, we're going to mix this up, and this is going to be held until it's time. Okay? Katie, I can get you started on it, but if you can't make it, you can order it, but I don't think it will. I think it'll be a one thing you can use. They do something to where it doesn't grow after one time. That's why I recommend doing it. If you want to get started, if it's spring where you're at, I think, let me see what the ratio is and I'll give it to you. You're going to need bread flour, water, and a ceramic bowl that's been glazed. They like those bowls better. They're known as bread bowls, but at one time we used them for everything. Let me get my book. And Katie, I failed 3 times before I got it. When you're trying something, don't be afraid of failure. Listen, I did. But it didn't stop me. I was still going to continue going. I didn't want to stop because I really wanted to do it. All right, so get a paper and pencil and I'll tell you. Okay, you got paper and pen? Or pencil and paper? Let me know, Katie, and I'll tell you exactly how to do it, and you can take notes, and this way it can help you. Okay. You're going to have to use bread flour. You need 2 cups of bread flour. And you need 1.5 cups of warm water. Okay? Now, I just take it from the faucet, cold water from the faucet. I don't warm the water up. And what you're going to do is you are going to beat that mixture up thoroughly. Now, if it's spring, you have your windows open, set it there. What you're trying to do is catch microbes that are in the air. That's the whole object. And spring seems to activate them because you got the pollen and everything going. They get excited. All right. So what you're going to do, set it by, don't cover it. You have to catch these things. If you put it outside, you have to put 2 layers of cheesecloth just to keep the insects out because the insects are going to go after it. That's why I do it inside the house next to an open window. I have a special place in my home that I do. And what you do, you beat it in the bowl and you put it by that window. Don't touch it till nighttime. Then I want you to go back and beat it again. Okay? Then in the morning, I want you to do it again. You're going to be doing this twice a day. You're going to beat it really hard. You're going to be beating air into it and stuff. And remember, the microbes are in the air, so you're grabbing them as you do this and you're whipping them in. Okay? So make sure you whip it. Just don't stir it like this. You want to really beat it where you're putting air into it as well. And you shouldn't, now listen, the last one took me 15 days. I can't tell you how long it will take, but they will finally catch. All right? So morning and night, you're beating this, leaving it by that window. And what you do, you'll notice all of a sudden it starts to swell. Now, if you've made bread, you know what yeast does. It starts to swell. You can tell when you make it and you come back 30 minutes later, you can see it's a little puffy. Then you have caught those microbes. You've got them. Now what you're going to have to do is they need to be fed. You feed them. Let's see, you'll be making a sponge culture. So you'll need 2 tablespoons of bread flour and 1.5 tablespoons of just water from the faucet. You feed them, put them in a quart jar, okay? Now, you'll notice every day you've got to feed them this. When you get to that point, I'll show you how to also make your liquid culture. We're going to be taking from the sponge culture and we'll be changing part of it to a liquid culture because I have recipes that call for sponge and I have cultures that call for liquid. So this way you will have both of them at your convenience. They say you should have it in 5 days. Mine took 15, but I didn't give up. Now, if it really smells horrible, then you know it's dead. Okay? That's the difference. You say, but I'm making sourdough. Yes, but it will have a slight sourness, a slight one, and you'll see that swelling. And you'll see bubbles on it. And then you say, yes, I got it. All right? So once you get there, but if it goes completely sour, throw it out. Start again. Do not get discouraged. Please do not, Katie. This takes a while. Once you catch your culture, you don't feed it all the while you're trying to catch it. Once you catch it, then you feed it every day, just 2 tablespoons of bread flour and 1.5 tablespoons of water, and you put it in a quart jar. That's after you've gotten your culture activated. They're going to be hungry. Okay? Once you get to that point and you put it in the refrigerator, because that'll slow down the growth, but it'll still be growing. That's the secret, because if you leave it out like that, next thing you know, it's going to be all over the dining room table, onto the floor, because it'll take off. Okay? So you put it in a quart jar, put the lid on it, and put it in the refrigerator. After you get to that point, I will definitely help you make your liquid culture, but you got your sponge culture, and then we can start working on making sourdough breads. Correct. You got it, Katie. You're very right. I don't know what that is, James. I'm sorry. I might know it by a different name. Baking is my my last name, really is. I grew up as a baker, so it seems baking was in my blood. As my father said, you took our last name. Okay, well, you do that. Do not get discouraged. If you have problems, come back to me and we will deal with it. Okay, Katie, I will help walk you through this. But once you get that culture going, you have to put in a quart jar, put the lid on it, because if you don't, you're going to be sorry. When I did, and I didn't put a lid on it, man, I woke up and it had all over the place. And if you've gotten, sometimes my culture is all the way at the top of the jar and it's trying to get out and I am trying to get in and the jar, it's holding it down. I've had to fight to get my culture. So I usually just leave it at a halfway mark in my jar. So you've got it, you do that and let me know how it goes. So you know that it'll smell a little sour, but when it smells rancid, it's dead and you start all over again, okay? But those are bread bowls and that's what you need for this. And when you make breads, you'll find out when you use the sourdough culture, you never cover them up. Never, okay? So this is gonna be cooking for like ever. It's not going to be ready for this part. What you do with the lemon and stuff that we've done here, once it's done and you put it in a serving bowl, okay, cut the strings off and lay it in a serving bowl and gravy and everything, you pour this over it. Well, I should say sprinkle it all over it, and that is it. So I'm going to let you go. And please do not get discouraged, Kate. I know you say, no, I won't. But if you fail and you look at it, you say, I can't do it. Don't do that, because believe you me, I still can't frost a cake well. I work at it, but you notice I don't make a lot of cakes because I'm really bad at frosting. I mean, one person said, I wouldn't eat that piece of shit. And I said, well, I got good flavor. It might look bad, but honey, one thing I do have is the flavor down, you know. So I have my weaknesses as well as anybody else. I'm not saying that I'm perfect in everything I make. If I have to make a souffle, we're in trouble. Okay? I'm not going to lie, trouble! But I'm going to try, and I keep working at it. I'll get it down one day, maybe the day before I die, but anyway, I'll work at it. Okay? So listen, I want all of you to take care, enjoy your day to the fullest. Though it's chilly, dress for the cool weather. Okay? Take care, and bye-bye.